Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a few examples of how we solve percents using proportions, or we could use equations. So this is straight from your worksheet, number 1 and number 2. So this, remember, percent equals per 100, or it's a ratio of some number over 100 always. So if I look at these, I have 5 squares this way, 20 squares across. This is already 100 squares. So my ratio, or my fraction, is already out of 100, and I have 20, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 46 of those are shaded. So 46 out of, or per 100, is the same as 46%. Right? Or we can write this as 0.46, which equals 46%. Okay? This number 2 is the same. It's out of 100. It's out of 100. So all you have to do is count how many shaded there are. And it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that aren't shaded up top. So that means 15 of those are shaded, and that equals 15%. Or, as a decimal, 0.15. And that's all you have to do for those. We need percent to be out of 100. Okay, percent is always out of 100. That's very, 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 very important. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. So number 3 is a little bit different because it doesn't have 100 squares. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me make sure I'm drawing here. See if I can draw again. No, it won't let me draw. Okay. It has 5, but only 10 on top, so it's out of a total of 50. Okay? And there's 10, 20, 30, 30, 1, 2, 3, 33 out of 50 that are shaded. Well, percent has to be out of 100. Now, if you know that 50 times 2 equals 100, then you can do 33 times 2 equals 66, which would be 66%, right? Or 0.66. If you can't see this, we can use this proportion to solve it. And I'm going to show you how to use this proportion in the next question. But this is called a proportion when we have two ratios or two fractions that are equivalent. Okay, and I'll show you how to use proportions in the next question to solve these percent problems. Okay, number 5 says, what is 30% of 90? We can use this little proportion that I showed in class where you have part over the whole or the total equals percent over 100. We can solve this proportion always and it will give us what we want. We just have to figure out which one we want. So what is 30% of 90? Of 90 tells us that's the total because it says of 90, that's the total. We want to know what this part is, and we also know that there's 30% of it. Okay, so we want to know this. We want to know what this number up here is. What is 30% of 90? Well, notice that it has to be less than half, right? 30% is less than half. Half of 90 is 45, so I know it's less than 45. That's a good place to start. So we can use this simple strategy to solve proportions. We cross multiply 90 times 30. 3 times 9 is 27, and I add those two zeros. And then we take this third number and we divide it by it. So I'll divide by 100. 27 divided by 100. Those zeros cross out. Those zeros cross out. I'm left with 27. So my x is 27. So what is 30% of 90? 27. Now, this is the proportional way. Hopefully, you remember from last class estimating 30% of 90. We could have done 10% of 90. 10% of 90 equals 9, right? You just move that decimal point one place, And then we want 30%, so we just have to multiply by 3, which gives us 27. Same as what we got. Okay? But I want to show you, I'm trying to teach you this proportion here, this proportion to solve these percents. So now here we have another one. 1 is 2% of what number? So of what number tells us we don't know the total. So this time our x, our variable, is the total, and our part is 1 equals 2 out of 100. Okay? Now I can do the same thing. I can cross multiply. 1 times 100 is 100. Then I divide by 2, and that gives me 50. So 1 over 50 is 2 equals 2% of 100. Okay, our 1 is 2% of 50. This would be 50. All right. You could have also seen that 1 times 2 equals 2, and you'd have to figure out what times 2 equals 100, which is 50. Both of those work. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going. I'm going to do a couple more examples. If you got it, you don't have to watch this anymore, but I'm just going to keep giving you some examples, okay? Okay, here we go. 2 more examples, and then hopefully you can finish the rest on your own. So I'm going to rewrite the proportion, part over whole, or I'm going to say total, that might make more sense, equals percent over 100. Okay, here we go. What percent of 200 is 68? So here we don't know the percent. So in our proportion, the percent's going to be the x. Now I have to figure out what the part and the total is. What percent of 200? So that tells me my total's 200 and my part is 68. Okay? I have this proportion. I'm going to set it up just like that. Multiply. I get 6,800, and then I need to divide by 200 equals, those zeros cross out, 68 divided by 2 is 34. So, okay, last one here. What is 40% of 55? That's what we're working on. And remember, part over total equals percent over 100. You could do this here, guys, because 40% of 55, you could do 10% of 55. Move the decimal place over, it's 5.5, right? And then multiply that times 4, or add it 4 times. And that could work. That works perfectly well. If I multiply it, I get 20 here, carry the 2, 4 times 5 is 20 plus 2. And it gives me 22, right? Now I'm going to show you this way, because this is the new strategy I'm focusing on. We have to figure out, or do they give us the part, the total, the percent, or what? They give us the percent, so I'm going to plug that into my proportion. 40% over 100 equals of 55. When you hear that word of, you know it's going to be the total number. So it's over 55. I need to know this. I need to know what part is 40% of 55. So I cross multiply. 55 times 40 is 2200. I divide that by 100. Those zeros cross out. Leaves me with 22. Perfect. And there we have it. Those match up. I'm happy. Yay. Smile. And I just gave you the answer to 8 questions. You should be excited. Hopefully this helps with using proportions. This is called a proportion. Proportions to solve percent problems. Percent of a number. And we can use this for taxes, commissions. We can do a lot of stuff with this. Alright guys, I'll see you next class. Hopefully this helps. Go get them. Talk to you later.